This super ultra wide 49-inch monitor is 5120 pixels wide, which really means you have two 2K monitors side by side in one screen. Now let's address the elephant in the room. This screen is big. It's very big. It's 119 centimeters wide, or 46.8 inches if you measure it in inches. Since this is an ultra wide monitor, of course, it compares to having two monitors side by side, as already said. However, one thing I don't really like about that is that you don't have any freedom in positioning. If you have two separate monitors side by side, you can position them the way you like it most. If you only have one monitor, you can only position one monitor and it has to be good and correct for you. On the other hand, you won't have any issues with extra cables, extra power sockets you need because you have two monitors. With one monitor, you only have one cable to plug in your PC and one cable for the power outlet, which is clear and easy. But yeah, just make sure you have enough room to put this big beast on your table. There's also a VESA mount on the back, which you can use to mount it on the wall, for example, if you would like that. There are several connection options on this monitor, which is really nice. So you have two HDMI ports, a USB Type-C, and two full display ports. And that last one is really important. If you want the full resolution of the screen, you need the DP 1.4 port. That will provide you with the full resolution on the screen. The HDMI, for example, won't do that. The DP 1.4 will do that for you. Now, a little bit about the colors on the screen. There are different gaming modes in the menus. I've tried these out, but in two of the three gaming modes there are in the menus, I found that the colors were a bit too blue for me. You have an FPS mode, you have an RTS mode, and you have a racing mode. The main changes when using these modes is that you have a drastic change in brightness and also shadow control going up as well. You can also change the blur reduction and adaptive sync if you like. And there's also an option to activate low input lag as well on the screen. To be honest, when I game, I don't really tweak a lot. I mainly take the screen out of the box and start gaming because I mostly like the way it's set up out of the box. Of course, if you want to change stuff, that's possible because there are also some options to go completely custom and to change it the way you like. But I don't know a lot about colors, you already know that probably. And I don't really know what a good color scheme is to change on that monitor, for example. But for more in-depth information on the colors and really testing with the gambits and all that stuff, there's a link in the description from PC Mag where they do some tests as well on this screen. So really check that out as well. Now, this is a gaming monitor, of course, but I'm far from a competitive gamer. I do like gaming. I've been gaming all my life, but never really competitive like CSGO, for example, or anything else like that. I just like casual games. I like to play shooters, I like to play sports games, I like to play RPGs, MMORPGs, or whatever you call it. So that's all no big deal for me. However, I'm not really good at anything, so I just like playing games and I'm mediocre, if you can call it like that. But from my noob's perspective, this monitor really provides for a really immersive gaming experience, also because of the curved display, of course. You're really sucked into the game, which is really nice. So the biggest difference I noticed is that you see a lot more of your environment. So you have a lot more room to clear your errors or to be like, okay, now I'm going to do this, and then I know I can see the left side or the right side of the screen. Then I know where other people are, for example, when driving a F1 car. For example, if you're playing Battlefield or Call of Duty, you can also see more of the map, which is really nice in my opinion, compared to a normal sized screen or television, for example. I don't really believe it makes me a better gamer, but the experience is really nice and it makes for a bit of a more enjoyable experience because you see more of your game and that way you can react to some things you normally don't see on your screen. Of course, one of the most important things is input lag or response time on gaming monitors. I did not really notice that. Of course, I didn't do any in-depth tests because I don't have any stuff to do those tests with. But compared to a lot of other monitors I've reviewed, because that's my opinion, of course, I did not really notice any input lag or anything whatsoever that made me a worse gamer than before or made me game slower than I would normally game. But there's a more technical analysis in the description below really about the milliseconds and all that stuff and the input lag, because I know that's really important when you're gaming on a competitive level. So really check that out as well if you want to have the real numbers over there. But for me, for a basic noobist gamer, it was a very nice screen and I really enjoyed the experience. I did not notice any input lag compared to other screens I had before, for example. Now, for a price of $1,000, this monitor is really affordable because it's a really big monitor. And don't forget, you're actually buying 2 monitors in one. So that's really the thing you have to think about when paying the $1,000. You're actually buying 2 monitors because of the size of this one and because, of course, it's a bit curved. Now, the experience overall on this monitor was actually really great. You're paying some money for it, of course, $1,000. It's not cheap, but in that price range, it's one of the best monitors. Should I say the best? I don't know. I've not tested them all, but it's one of the best I've already tested in that price range. So that's really nice, of course, to have a good monitor for that price. Now, with a good gaming monitor comes good gaming accessories like a keyboard and a mouse. So I'm going to shortly review these 2 as well because I've tested them out as well together with this monitor. So I have the GK and GM500. The GK is the keyboard and the GM, of course, is the mouse. And probably stands for Gaming Keyboard 500 and Gaming Mouse 500. I just noticed this right now. Now, the GK500 is very affordable and it comes in for only $70, which is really cheap for a gaming keyboard. But is it any good? Because that's also important. It's metallic and very compact. And it does not really stand out, but in my opinion does the trick for mainstream gamers. There's an extra wrist support in the box, which is really nice and really provides for a more ergonomic gaming experience when gaming. So that's really nice as well. Of course, this is an RGB keyboard, as you've probably already noticed, which means you can change it to any color or color schemes you like. I've just changed it to red and put it in red, which I really like, especially when it's a bit darker and all that stuff. It's a really nice experience to have it in red, but you can change it any way you like, which is really nice. You can change it via the AOC G tool on your PC. You have color modes, or you can choose just one color for the keys. You can also change the macros for most keys as well, which is really nice. The keys are really clickable, if you know what I mean. So it was really like click, 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 click. So I really like the typewriter kind of feeling on a keyboard. So a mechanical keyboard, which is really nice, of course. I've noticed I've said really nice, of course, at the end of every sentence. So forgive me for that. However, some keys might be a bit too loose for some people. If you notice that, then it's something you really take into consideration when gaming or typing something. It's really something you keep noticing. So yeah, that's not really nice in my opinion, but for $70, this is really a good keyboard. That's really customizable as well via the app on your PC. And it just works very well. I've always been like, okay, a keyboard is a keyboard, but it's mainly like the feeling you have with the keyboard or how it looks that is different from a regular keyboard you would buy in the shop, for example. And this RGB keyboard really stands out compared to a regular keyboard which you would use for gaming, for example. And who even games on a regular HP keyboard, for example. But for the price of $70, this is a really nice keyboard. Now, the mouse. If you have a keyboard, you need a mouse as well. So this is where the GM500 comes in. It combines very nicely with the keyboard. And again, for a very sharp price, you can't guess it, probably of $25, which is nothing for a mouse. So you're probably thinking $25, that won't be any good. Well, it's okay. So let's see what's it about. It's really customizable as well via the app, and it has a very symmetrical particular design, which means it's used for left-handed people, but also for right-handed people, which also makes it a little less ergonomical, because if you have a mouse, for example, this is the Logitech MX Master, one of the first ones, I think, or second generation. This is really ergonomical because it's made for right-handed people, as you can see. The GM500 is made for left and right-handed people, which means it's not ergonomical for the left or for the right one. So that's a bit of a shame, I think, but for that price, they mainly wanted to push it mainstream, I think. So there's RGB in the housing and on the scrolling wheel, and it has 8 programmable buttons, which is also really nice when gaming, for example. The USB cable is braided, which also gives me a more of an exclusive feeling on this mouse, which is really nice. This mouse has a max DPI of 5000, which makes it a good starter mouse. It's not the fastest mouse out there, of course, but for $25 you really can't go wrong. So if you're really looking for a first gamer startup set, and I'm only talking about the keyboard and the mouse right now, for your kids, for example, or maybe for you, you're like, okay, I see a lot of people gaming right now, I want to start gaming, but I don't want to spend $400 for a keyboard and $200 for a mouse, then these are really a budget-friendly step up into the gaming world. So that's really nice, and I love the fact that AOC as well, with their monitors, now with this mouse and this keyboard, really provides an opportunity for people who don't want to spend a lot of money on good gaming accessories, that they provide these for that price. That's really nice. So yeah, if I would have kids, they would probably use that mouse and that keyboard as a first gaming accessory when they start gaming, for example, because you know, kids, after about 2 weeks, they'll be like, I don't like gaming, and you've bought everything for them, and then they don't even like gaming. So yeah, kids these days. Now, yeah, of course, to round off this video, I reviewed the monitor, I reviewed the keyboard, I reviewed the mouse, and I don't have any real negative things to say about these 3 things. Of course, the mouse and keyboard are very separate. Those prices are $70 and $25. That's not a lot of money. So even if you don't really like them, you've only spent $25 for the mouse, for example. So that's no big deal. Of course, the screen is $1,000. That's really not cheap. So you've watched this review if you're here already, or if you've waited till the end, you've watched the full review. That was my opinion. I would suggest you keep checking out other reviews and keep reading about other reviews on this monitor, because it's a really important purchase for $1,000. I always say that to the viewers or people who comment. Really check out other reviews as well and compare some reviews to see which one fits you best. Of course, if you have the opportunity to check out the screen or the monitor, if you have the opportunity to test it with a friend or at the store, do that as well before you buy it. But in my opinion, I really had a very enjoyable experience with the monitor, especially for gaming, of course, because it's a real gaming monitor. For just desk work, there are a lot of other options like this one, for example, which is also in the description. That's a real nice one for desk work, which I use all the time. But for gaming, well, the curved one, the super ultra wide monitor was really nice, but it would not fit here. So that's really important as well. You need some space to put it. Now, as always, if you have any questions regarding the monitor or the keyboard or the mouse, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be very glad to help you. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Does that even still count, dislikes? I don't know, because they've changed it and you probably can't see how many dislikes I get, which is good. No, but really, if you have questions or issues or other comments, leave them, and I'll be glad to answer them as well. And I hope I'll see you in our next video.